Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing fantastic. On today's menu, we'll be working on some okra stew. Okay, this is one of our favorites in Ghana, and I still haven't met anyone who doesn't like okra stew. So today I'm going to show you really quickly how to put everything together and come out with a really good finger-licking okra stew. So I'll have all the ingredients listed down in the description box, but this is just a quick look at everything we have. I usually start off by prepping a pepper mix that I'll be using to steam my meat. And for this one, I'm using some chili peppers, some onions, some ginger, some garlic. I'll also be adding some anise, rosemary, black peppercorns, and coriander. Once I have all that in the blender, I'll be adding just a little bit of water to help this blend into a nice paste. And now I'll go ahead and add all my meat into a saucepan with the exception of my smoked turkey and crabs, which I'll add in there later on. But then I add about half of my pepper mix into the saucepan with my meat, and I go in with some salt and some onga cube or bouillon cube. I'll also be adding some bay leaves and adobo seasoning. I'll give that a good mix just to make sure I have most or all of my meat coated with all of that nice pepper mix and seasoning. Then I'm going to let that cook on medium heat for the next 30 minutes or so, but then I'll keep checking on it just to make sure everything is on track. Now that I have my meat out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some tomatoes into quarters, and I'm going to blend that coarsely. This time I didn't add any water because of how juicy my tomatoes are. I'm going to set that aside, and we'll go ahead and cut up our okra. When it comes to cutting up my okra, I like to go in with different shapes. So these ones I'm doing right now are a bit chunky and on the bigger side. And after that, I'll be cutting them a little bit smaller than these ones are. Sometimes I go in with my food processor to get this done quicker. But we can say I'm a bit lazy to wash the food processor today. So I just decided to use my hands, and it didn't take too much time to do that either. So that goes to tell us that you really don't need a food processor for this. As much as it makes the work really easy, your hands do a perfect job, and this is how we've known how to do it for a very long time. And now I'm done cutting all the okra too, so we are going to set that aside and go ahead and cut up some onions. I use a large onion for this part because I really love onions, and I wanted to have a lot of that in my stew. It's been just about 30 minutes now, and I go back to check on my meat, which has cooked really nicely at this point. It's not too soft, so I'm going to go in and add my smoked turkey and my crabs, and I'm going to let that cook still on medium heat for about 15 more minutes. Now let's go ahead and cook up our okra, and this part can be a bit tricky because you don't want to add too much water or too little water. So what I find gives me the best consistency is to add water to be at the same level as the okra is. And now I go in with some baking soda, and I'm going to whisk really well. The baking soda helps the okra keep its green color and also helps to keep that slime or that draw in the okra. And now I add some spinach. That's just an extra touch there. You don't have to add that if you don't want to. And we have to whisk really hard, and that helps to keep this okra really slimy, just how we want it. At this point, my meat is well cooked, so I'm going to set that aside, and we'll get into the real deal. Here we'll be putting everything together. So first thing I go in with is some palm oil, and I also add some momoni, which is homemade and absolutely good, just like what we have back home in Ghana. Right after that, I go in with some onions and my pepper mix. I'll give that a stir and let it cook on medium heat for about 3 minutes. Right after that, I'll go in with my blended tomatoes or my tomato puree, and I'll give that a stir again, and I'll let it cook for about 10 minutes or till you see that the oil is beginning to come to the top of the stew. Then I'll go in with all of my cooked up meat, crabs, everything, all the good stuff. I'll go in with those, and then I'll allow that to go for just about 5 more minutes. Then I'll go in with some fresh mackerels. Now you want to add your fish just about when you're getting to the end of this, because they are so soft and fragile. You don't want to put them in too early. And I let that cook for a little bit, and I actually take it out of the stew because I'll be doing a lot of stirring soon once I add the okra. And now that that is out of there, I'll be going in with my okra. Now, using my ladle, I'm just going to mix the stew and the okra together. And this is why I took out the fish, so that I don't end up smooshing all of that fish. And now I'm going in with some onions, totally optional, but I like to see these onions in my soups and stews. You can also go in with your mackerels at this point because we are just nearing the end of this whole cooking process. Once you put your okra in, you don't cook it for too long, maximum 5 minutes, and you are done, guys. And also, one thing you don't do is to cover the saucepan with a lid. If not, you're going to kill all that draw you worked so hard for. I'll be serving my okra stew up with some banku, and guys, this was so good. I hope you tried this recipe and I hope you like it. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do consider subscribing to this channel to see more videos like this. Don't forget to share and like this video as well. Take care and see you soon.